Johnny is back. That's
I am.
Yay!
wish I could say I was excited about it. I was kind of hoping that you would have gotten some sort of fungal infection.
You could be so lucky.
Yeah.
We all could be. I should turn off the music.
You should turn off the
You
music.
should turn off the music.
It's
You
nice
should keep
though.
all of us on.
Unless we want to vibe for a minute.
A little
I
vibe.
like vibing.
I like
Okay.
vibing.
I finally caught COVID after about
Or
Hey.
Or did COVID catch you?
it caught me. I think I got it from the place that we had my son's birthday party, which was
Oh,
an
the
indoor,
COVID store.
Yeah, it was an indoor trampoline park,
That's
Gross.
what I said.
and I should have just worn a mask the whole time I was in there. I didn't.
You should have known better. That's what you should
Yeah.
have done.
So, but it happened a good 2 weeks before I go to Disney. So, if I was gonna get it before I went on a trip, it was good that it happened like now.
Only fools catch COVID while traveling, Johnny. We've
That's true.
established this.
Yeah,
Glad you're feeling better. COVID sucks. For anybody
Yeah,
who's keeping
almost
track,
all the way better now.
2/3 of the show has had COVID. I'm technically back now in the red where I can get it again. So that sucks, but we'll see how it goes. Chase, hold out.
I live alone. I don't go to many places. Works out.
It's great. Speaking of infections
Yeah.
and viruses,
Johnny's
and,
back. Yay!
The Last of Us is now a television show,
It is. Yeah,
and
Yeah.
the three of us have watched it.
we have.
It's true. All 1 hour and 20 minutes of it.
Yeah,
I gotta
that
say,
was
I
very-
think they've done a damn fine job of capturing what made that game special.
Yeah, I think I think they're telling the story. They're adding a little bit here or there, which
Mhm.
makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean that it is certainly the Last of Us story.
It's that story, and I was like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Anytime there was a frame that matched up with how it was animated in a cutscene in the game, I was pointing that out to Mister. Like, hey, that's exactly how this plays out in the game.
I'm sure
That-
she loved that.
That's not in the game. Oh, by the way, Marlene, that's actually the woman who acted as Marlene in the game.
I can't think of the actress's name from Westworld. Her daughter in real life, IRL, was Sarah in this.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm
she was
not
also in
remembering her name
Solo.
either.
Yeah, she had a role in Solo as well. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, she has her exact face. Like that's
Yeah.
I'm really look. It's really cool. Like I know that yes, you can say this is the Last of Us story and kind of apathetically embrace it, but I'm getting to experience this with somebody who's never played the game, and
that was the coolest thing for me. Too.
I think that's probably why I have I imagine the least opinion on it. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I've played I almost said Mass Effect. I've played The Last of Us. I know what happens.
you watched the
And
Halo TV show. I don't want to hear it.
the Halo TV show has nothing to do with the Halo game.
It doesn't. It has the same
I
name.
will
It has
tell
Master
you,
Chief in it.
I watched the first episode of the Nier Automata anime and went, yeah, I played the game. I don't like you're just retelling you're just playing the cutscenes.
But aren't you reading a book on the Three Kingdoms too? And you're playing those
I don't
games?
know what happens in the Three Kingdoms. The Dynasty Warriors Dynasty Warriors is based on the Three Kingdoms. It ain't the story.
I'm glad that your quirks come over to the TV as well.
No, I'm. God damn it! You
said
you're
he likes
here
it.
going. I like that I'm watching it with somebody who's never seen it before. I don't have that. Again, I live alone. I am not getting that experience. And for me, I watch it and go, yeah, I've seen this before. And you get to watch somebody as they theorize and ask questions. And I'm here for like 20, 30 minutes going, I know this girl's going to die. Stop telling me a story about this girl who I just know is going to die. This all feels like wasted time. And it
But
double
that's-
feels like wasted time. I mean, it's a well-produced show.
It was
I-
necessary because
Sure.
like this is reaching an audience who was not familiar
I
with
agree.
the game story, probably.
I
So-
totally agree, and I think people who have not played The Last of Us are going to enjoy this probably more than people who have experienced The Last of Us.
It's kind of strange that becomes a household name in some ways, that like
Yeah.
there's people who will not know it as the game. And
Sure.
I am like in a similar fashion to what you're saying. When that remake of the remake came out, I got really tempted. I mean, I downloaded it. My cousin had it. We have Game Share. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to wait and maybe play this while watching this show or after that and just see like where it goes. But I don't think I need to play the game. I at this point I would be more interested in going back to 2, but I think it's really cool. Like, video games have a bad rap when it comes to the silver screen, and in the small screen, in this case for TV, any non-animated one, I should say, has had a rough go at this. And
Even some of the animated.
that's true too. I'm excited. Look, like, this is going to be fun. Sarah and I are in it. She's very hooked. She was already asking me the questions, and I got to work on my poker face. But yeah, I was just like, there's a part of me that's also just like, you motherfuckers have no idea what you will be walking into with any of this. So
my questions end up becoming more mechanical of how much does this first season of The Last of Us cover? Is this going to be one game in a season? Is it part of a game in a season? Are they going to do Last of Us 2 as part of the show? Should I stop watching since I stopped with The Last of Us 1, the game? Should I also stop at this point in the show?
This is like perfect because you don't want to play the game, and that's a really good story. And
No. I don't want to play the game because I didn't want more story. I felt like the end of The Last of Us wraps up in a way that I was comfortable with, and I don't need more. That was the whole point. It's not that I didn't want to play the game. Mechanically, that game is fine. I just have no interest in playing that story any further.
Fair. For those of you who are interested, they are going to, the rumor from what Neil has kind of let out is, spoilers a little bit here, they will be doing part 2 in 2 seasons to do the perspective switch with more details and story around it. This is going to capture season 1, and I think that was probably just like, let's wrap this up. That way, if this doesn't work out, HBO's not been super stable lately. Who knows what's going to happen there? Let's tell our story the best that we can and go that route.
I mean, the problem is if this show is popular, and so far this first episode seems like it is.
Yeah.
That what happens after you make all the Last of Us stuff and people want more? And I think Neil has also said at this point in some interviews, yeah, I guess there could be more story there. Yeah, sure. And like the idea that somebody might make a Last of Us 3, whether it's a game or a show, I go, okay, where are you gonna go now?
It's gonna be like The Walking Dead.
I got news for you, man.
Like
that thing's making way too much money to not be given more. And even if it deserves it, or it's warranted, or we want it, the suits win. And go ahead.
I will say I like Pedro Pascal. I think he's a good actor. I liked him in Game of Thrones. I like him in The Mandalorian. He's just not Joel to me. I look at this guy, I listen to this guy, and it's like, you're a great actor, but you're not Joel. He feels different.
There's a disconnect for sure for me between. I mean, I think they're both good.
I mean, I'm not saying they're going to go out and get Josh Brolin or something that feels like he would probably fit the Joel character a little better, but maybe part of it is that I know Pedro Pascal. Like he is too much of a known quantity at this point, and unless you're putting a helmet over him, then
I think they should have gotten like an unknown.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I think HBO would, for this being like the marquee show that they're trying to make it, they needed a star.
Sure, I'm not saying that you only get half the viewers if you don't cast him, but I'm sure a lot of people are tuning into this show because it's the guy I like from The Mandalorian. Yeah,
I mean even Bella Ramsey.
Yeah,
people loved her character, in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of seeing this right now on Netflix with The Witcher, with Henry stepping away and now Liam coming in. Like I can assuredly feel like there's going to be a significant drop off on viewership, not only because of that, but the other shit with what they're doing there. But anyway, Last of Us is on Sunday nights. It looks like it goes through to that first few weeks of March is going to be a lot of Pedro Pascal on TV between the Mandalorian and this. But Sunday nights, I will be following that along with Sarah and having a good time with that. But we've got a big show for you tonight. Johnny's back. It is a What You've Been Playing here at the Casual Hour. We're going to be talking about a handful of games, including Chained Echoes, The Curse of the Golden Idol, Wall World, Dome Keeper, Atreo, The Dark World, Forest Fire. And we got a handful of news stories to go through. So hang out with us. We'll be going through those games. We'll talk about the news and tell you about the rest of the week that we're going to be having here. So get cozy, hang out, and Chase, what have you been doing?
I played a lot more Chained Echoes. I think I was about 10-ish hours when we talked about it last week. I'm now double that, and I've gotten a lot of this. I think I'm where you were when we talked about this last week.
Okay.
So when you're telling me, oh, hey, things are going to get wild, like, yeah, they kind of got wild. Like I have sky armors now. I'm playing around with those things.
I need to get there.
I like the way that they kind of puzzle out some of the, like, hey, here's where you can use a sky armor and the enemies are meant for that, and then here's guys where you can only use the regular dudes. You can't get into your sky armor, but here's like a kind of like a pseudo stealth section where these are the enemies that you'd fight in a sky armor, and they're way too strong for you as normal guys, so you have to kind of sneak around and get around to a point where you can get into your sky armor and then come back to that area. I find that stuff to be really fascinating. I still think it's really fun. I'm getting to the point where I'm gaining so many skills, or I'm maxing out the skills, that all your skills get to a maximum of level 3. And once they get to level 3, you cannot keep upgrading them anymore. And the completionist part of me wants to say, well, I gotta get those skills out so I can put in new skills that I can also level up, always be leveling something up. But then the other part of me goes, well, I leveled that skill up to max. It's now the best it can be. It got better, and when you hit max, it gets to its strongest form. But now I'm just wasting some of that power. And there's a part of me that likes this, that likes that grind, especially because this game doesn't have experience points, and this is kind of the way it has a way to still grind it. And I just kind of wish I got something. I was rewarded for maxing out these skills. I told Bobby I don't think it'd be I don't think it'd be balanced, but I would, again, an ideal world for me, I'd like, once you get a skill to max level, it's just unlocked for you totally, to give me an incentive to just unlock all the skills. But I realize that gets pretty broken in some ways.
Yeah.
So
still though, I'm having a great time with it.
I think that that system is interesting, but it's like I don't usually enjoy the grind so much these days, despite loving a lot of JRPGs. But I don't know. Like, how do you feel about that aspect of it, Bobby? Because it's a little different than what we'd be accustomed to with more traditional things.
Like maybe an hour ago, I got credits on this game, and so okay. I like it quite a bit, Johnny. No,
I mean that system specifically.
Oh, I love it. I think it's really cool. I there's a tinkering aspect to this that, in a weird way, scratches like the automation loving part of my brain with like the way that I approach like framing up. Whenever you have like a creative mode on something, it's kind of how I look at it. It's like a creative mode almost. I can go in and like, if I unlock all these skills and if I start to move like emblems, like that's what I was doing is like, okay, I maxed all this out. I can
tinker with this however I want.
And there's three.
Like use the cleric class on everybody to unlock heal all and then trade it off to the next person.
Yep.
that is also something I'm doing and having a great time with it.
There's 3 hidden classes that you can find in the game, and they do it's pretty open. Like that game, it goes in, and we talked about it last week, it goes into almost a Mass Effect Build the Normandy style. Like you get a castle and shit, but the game is broken up into 4 acts, and there are certain people you cannot get until you go through certain side quests in the game.
Gotcha.
And you even meet characters that might not have any of their abilities until you do other side quests to help them like figure themselves out again, which is really interesting.
That one character you're referencing is like that has become a game unto itself of how can I make this work so I can get him his other skills.
Yep.
He's fun. That's kind of one of my other problems here is that I like all the characters and really want to use all the characters.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm making cool builds with them, and then when it's time to actually sit down and just say, well, these are the 4 that I am starting with, and yes, you can always swap to the other ones mid battle, so it feels like you're using everybody. There's still a part of me that goes, I mean, this is the A squad, but I really like the B squad, and I want to give them some time.
I know, man.
It's like,
Is it 8 total?
Yeah.
Or is there more?
You
there's
have
more
8 that you can use at a time.
Yeah.
Do you get more outside of that?
Yes.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I have not gotten more than 8 so far, but I know there are more than 8.
6 still. I'm
And
only like
there's
5 hours
also you're going to recruit people. So I would also say, Johnny, like get to the point where you get your base in this game, because that's when you get an airship, travel becomes easier, and you're going and recruiting people to come back to your base, not that they're in your party. And so they do things that make quality of life improvements in the game much better. Like you're getting more mats, you're able to go onto a screen and know if you've gotten every chest there, like little things like that happen, which are worth getting.
I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcast last week or if that was a conversation you and I had another time, but it's a lot like Suikoden 2, where you have this castle, you recruit some people are party members, some people are just
there to hang out,
like a blacksmith or like a fortune teller or something. Like people who add extra mechanics when you're at the castle, but they're not directly in your party. And that is pretty cool.
It's not that I'm not enjoying the game. I think it's really cool. I wish it had come out earlier last year. It's just, I got sick, and I didn't play like any video games.
Yep.
Like the whole time I was sick, I just watched movies.
That's one. I mean, I grinded it to get to this point for sure.
Yeah. Like like Fire Emblem is coming out in a couple days, and I don't want this to just fall by the wayside to that. Even though I'm really excited for Fire Emblem.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I'm jealous that Bobby hit credits. I think I ended up, even though I have about 20-ish hours in it now, I think it's closer to like 25, but a good portion of that time was me looking for new class emblems or me looking for new people and not just doing the story stuff. So I think I'm kind of far away in terms of how much of the story I've progressed.
I was like 45 to 50 hours.
That's what I've heard, like 40 to 60.
Yeah.
I'm
there's still game left for me to play.
Super keen on it. I just haven't spent a ton of time with it still.
I will tell people, I mean, maybe it's obvious to a bunch of people. It wasn't obvious to me. So you have the reward board, and I think that's a cool system. I like unlocking things on that and making that big chain. And I didn't realize that you got bonuses for the chain. I mean, I saw that it said, "Hey, your longest bonus or your longest chain is 22," or like right now it's at like 68. And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And I'm just unlocking the things on the board, and then finally, I guess I accidentally hit the button, and it switched to, "Oh, here's all the stuff you get for the chain." And I went, "Oh my god! Look at all these incredible rare items that I just passed up."
You can't get every class without doing that.
Right. I realized that very quickly of, oh my God, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, all my characters get like 10 extra skill points because I just didn't pay attention to this thing until halfway
great.
through the game.
I
And
found it by
"God damn."
mistake last time I played a
It's
couple days ago.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, cool.
it's one of my favorite JRPGs. I think it's just so fucking good. I think it probably would have knocked one of my darling top 10 games off.
I was gonna ask.
Like
Last thing I was gonna ask
I think that
about
we made the right call in a lot of our categories, but I think there would have been some more color added to those discussions with these characters and style, and there's a lot here that it's just a very impressive game that I distinctively remember our December preview episode, and we were just kind of like, yeah, this looks like a whatever. And then the mechs were like, but they have these big fucking cool things. And we're like, oh, yeah, that does look neat. And then I saw that it was going to be on Game Pass. I'm like, well, I feel like I have to, at this point, check it out.
Yeah.
And
I played the first hour. I was like, okay, I'm just going to buy this.
Yeah, I knew pretty quick, like, they've done some cool stuff here. But I think a lot of that game, I'm so happy I got to see it through. And Chase, I'm very happy that you are actually liking this one.
Yeah, I mean, you said it would have made your top 10 probably. I think it would have cruised into my top 5, and honestly has a real shot at dethroning something like Neon White at my number 1 if I had just gotten the time to play it before Game of the Year time.
December
but at
8th, right? That's when it came out.
Yeah, and we were also grinding on other things at the time, trying to get other games done, and I think I was playing Midnight Suns at that point, and I was enjoying Midnight Suns, so it's fine.
But that, I mean, like, that was the week before we did Game of the Year. There's just no way that we would have had anything for it.
No, I don't have time.
Yep. But I'll tell you, it's an early contender for
best non
2023 game that I played for the first time. Yeah,
it's very well done for sure.
It's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's all you've been grinding on.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to play a little bit more Super Robot Wars, hoping to finish that up, and no, I've still got, like, I counted it was something like 40 more missions.
40? Jesus Christ!
That's also doing like a ton of optional stuff. I think if I was just doing the main stuff, it would probably be more like 10 or 15, and I just know I want to wring every last drop out of that game.
Yeah,
as you said.
Yeah, I guess a little bit, especially for a game like this. So I think it's just something I'll keep chipping away at. And then I'm still playing little shit like Fire Emblem Heroes, which just added some Fire Emblem Engage units, which I don't. Thankfully, it's like only people that I have seen before, because I'm kind of trying to go media blackout on that. But it's like, oh, hey, they added the characters from the new game. That's kind of cool. And so I've seen a little bit more of them
Chase,
through that.
Nothing about Fire Emblem Heroes is cool. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that.
I mean, it's not, and yet I still enjoy playing it, and I don't put money into it anymore. So that feels.
I've never had a
You're
problem.
the strong one.
Yeah, I'm the strong.
I guess so. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Anyway,
so you've been
that's about it.
Chained Echoes, Fire Emblem Heroes, and what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Super Robot Wars.
Super
You
Robot
know.
Wars.
SRW30.
He just doesn't want to say it. He doesn't want that name in his mouth.
I put some respect on my name. All right. So as I mentioned, I beat Chained Echoes. That was something that I had said to myself and to you all and to the Lord, wherever the Lord may be. I'm going to beat this before Fire Emblem Engage comes out, and I did.
And you did it. Congratulations.
You did it. Good job.
I was
the congratulations reaction turned on.
I was looking
probably best that we don't.
Yeah, it's fair. I was looking at 2022 because I personally feel that here on the 20th is kind of when my year kicks off officially with Fire Emblem. That's when that's the first big new game, I thought, at least. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back. There's one game that
3 and 4 come out tomorrow
that I did not finish from 2022 that really impacted me in a profound way. And that was The Case of the Golden Idol. And I decided, you know what? You're going to beat this game too. And I got really damn close. So I will have this game done by the time Fire Emblem unlocks. And hot damn, that game fucking rules, man. That is such a cool game. It scratches that part of your brain that enjoys Clue, that just like throws back to the nostalgia of like old tech that you played games on.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking neat, man.
This looks really cool.
Did you play Obra Bobby?
I did not.
Man,
In my library, if you want to check it out.
That is something I would strongly recommend you play sometime this year. If you're liking Curse of the Golden Idol, that this is also
that
right up your alley. I hear a lot of people compare the two.
Okay.
And I think it's a relatively fair comparison where it's kind of a fill in the blank mystery thing for both of these games. This one's certainly doing something a little bit different, and I really like what I've seen of it. Unfortunately, it's had some technical issues when we've tried to stream or record with it, so we haven't been able to do as much with it as we really wanted to. But I'm glad you're digging it and playing a bunch of it.
Yeah, do you remember when we played Unpacking, like how the houses kind of add more? Like the way, like, okay, now you have 2 bathrooms and you've got this, like this game, like, cause you and I played through at least 2 or 3 of those levels, Chase, where it's like, you're in one room, solve it. What the fuck happened here? This is bonkers.
Right.
No, man, that game gets very big.
Multiple screens that you're going back and forth through to, to.
And the other thing that helped me,
you're definitely doing the red strings going like, okay, this goes here and that goes there. And
Pepe Sylvia.
Yes.
You can, so your little, the toolbox at the bottom where you can, all the words are captured.
Yeah, the toolbar, whatever.
You can rearrange that. And I found that out too late in the game, unfortunately, but it helped me kind of coordinate how I wanted to pull my storytelling together and case solving. But relatively short game here, depending on how, like, I don't want to say smart, but how observant you might be.
I mean, it's pretty short if you're a genius like I am, right?
No. I mean, if you look at
what I heard.
I think if you look at the how long to beat and my hour count on it, those two things probably don't match up in a way that I'm proud of. So anyway, that's the Curse of the Golden Idol. That is out on PC only, I think. No, I take that back. I think it's on other things now. Might be on other stuff.
PC.
We can look it up.
But it's very good.
Just Windows and Mac.
Okay. I think it's like $15 too. So that's an awesome game. I hope you guys can check that out. And then, we streamed
$18. Don't lie to us, Bobby.
18 smackaroos. Okay.
So it's last $3 to get you.
There was a game that I saw coming out from Alaware, ALAWAR. They've done a few other games that we've checked out here on the show, but they got a playtest for a game called Wall World that seemed like it might have some fun artwork with it. And I checked it out, and immediately within seconds of playing it, I'm like, wait, have I played this? And I was like, what the fuck? It's not my library. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe Chase and I did something on one of our Next Fest streams. I'm like, no, no. Dome Keeper. It hit me. This game is fucking Dome Keeper. The way that we saw clones coming for Vampire Survivor, this is what I'm seeing here. So Dome Keeper came out last year into 1.0. It is a tower defense style game that you are upgrading your spaceship on an alien planet, but your spaceship is above a mine. So think more like the way that Dig Dug looks. And you're going down, and you've got a jetpack.
Right, I'm with you. I liking what you're saying so far.
Yeah.
Dig Dug, great looking video game.
So you're going down, and you got a jetpack. You're hovering around, and you're busting these bricks up. And there's different types of upgrade materials that will be in these bricks. And as they fall, there might be like 4, 6, 3, 2, 1, however many that will drop. You have to pick them up, but they use some really impressive, for a little 8-bit looking sprite-based game, it's all physics-based in that sense. So when you go to fly away, you're moving incredibly slow based off the load you're trying to bring back in. And what's happening is there's waves that come, of these aliens that try to destroy your ship. And you need those materials to upgrade your suit and to upgrade your ship. And you're trying to fly back up, and there's some real tense moments because you can drop what you're carrying and get up there faster. And the dome that you have uses a gun that you just move back and forth from left to right. And so it doesn't move incredibly quick. So you might have an attack coming from the left and you're firing it off. All that stuff can be upgraded and it gets much easier to play. But the deeper you go down, the more difficult it is to bust the bricks, the longer it takes to get back up to your ship. And you can upgrade like, oh, I have a radar now that lets me know exactly when the bugs are going to be coming back. Game fucking rules, guys. You got to check out Dome Keeper. It's so well done. It's got that
I
like
downloaded it.
one more run, one more playthrough. Like, let me keep going. Like, it's dangerous.
I love tower defense games.
You're gonna love this. I promise you. You're gonna love it. Anyway, Wall World's neat. It just flips the game up on its side, so you're vertically going up into mines. It's got, I mean, god damn it, it's almost the exact same thing, Chase. Where
I was looking at screenshots and I was like, this looks like the same thing.
The way that we talked about 20 Minutes Till Dawn having that pizzazz that we like, that style, Wall World, I think, looks a little bit better graphically than this one. So I played it. It's fine. It's cool. Like, but Dome Keeper does it better and it's completely out. So check out Dome Keeper. It's very, very neat. Lastly, a game that I did a quick look with Chase for whenever it hit early access is called Atreo: The Dark World. And I knew immediately when I was playing this that this was going to be a problem. And I had to unplug and stop playing it because it was in early access. I had gotten to where I could get with it.
You fucking sicko.
I'm so sick. This one's really cool, Johnny, and I think that you will like this one quite a bit. So the premise of this one is you are on a planet trying to restore power to it. It uses a very similar humor that you might come across from, like, I don't know, a Portal. You're a very disposable android that in the midst of building, your battery will run out and you will die. Like that, you can't stop.
Right.
You also can die from other things, but you have a time limit for each one of your androids, and they can be extended through upgrades. But when you die, your replacement comes up and you go and harvest the body and get scrap from it. But the whole, it's really good. The whole world's dark and you're expanding it through light with power. And there's old factories there that you're encountering. It's got a really neat style to it. I like the look quite a bit.
Yeah, I was watching the trailer for it, and it's got a cool sort of vibe to it.
It's like a mix of techno-y stuff and but also like some who's the Cthulhu guy, that kind of horror, that eldritch looking horror stuff. It's like a mix of
that's good.
Eldritch
that's really
and tech stuff.
That's good. That's very on the nose. That's very well done.
It's my job to know things and to speak about them.
They got one thing that they added in since I played it last that I think fucking rules, and it's a hand helper. So there's a lot of things you have to harvest from like a resource standpoint.
Yeah.
One of those is like,
is it like a Mr. Grabber? Is it like one of those grabber things?
No, it's like
off shelves.
It's like Hamburger Helper, but a robot that's in the style of this game. And
like the glove.
Yes.
Okay, like not just like a pile of beef stroganoff that's helping you. Okay,
I wish. But no, so you can build this giant hand that goes and picks these like resources, and then it just comes back and drops them on the conveyor belt for you. And you can have these hands, like, come and get these hands, like they're coming around here. It's very
like a bunch of things from the Addams Family walking around. Okay,
but they're huge.
I can get behind that.
They're very big.
Great.
Oh, they're like what's the Zelda enemy?
Yeah.
Yes, but also the thing from Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Sure, Master Hand. Yeah,
Master Hand.
It's a very dumb but very good thing. It's not quite a Kevin, but I think it's pretty good. And
Wall Masters, that's what they're called.
I'm so excited to get to like this. So this game hit 1.0 on January 10th, which I did not know was going to come out this year. I've been wanting to play it, but I'm like, no, you have to beat Chained Echoes. That was your deal. So go beat.
Like your little
so now I have this game, which I I'll finish up Golden Idol and I'll play this because with the Switch I can take, I can go down to the couch and hang out and play Fire Emblem. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. What?
The way you reward yourself by completing a video game is by playing some sort of factory simulation game.
It's my first one this year.
This is not a video game. This is just chores. Bobby likes to accumulate chores.
But to him, it's like you know what? I got a really good workout in today. I'm gonna eat the whole pint.
Yeah, going for it. You earned this. So I played The Curse of the Golden Idol, Wall World, and Dome Keeper, and Atreo: The Dark World. All very cool things that I'll be talking a little bit more about. I think we should do a Dome Keeper stream some night. I think that would be a lot of fun. It's a cool game. So maybe we'll do a stream with that sometime in the future.
Keeper sounds like the name of a hard hat company.
Yeah. Johnny, besides playing with COVID, what have you been playing?
I have not been playing a ton of video games because I was sick with COVID. I just kind of sat around and watched movies for like 4 days.
I get that. I did not want to do much.
Did COVID affect your short-term memory?
What?
Exactly.
Wow.
So I picked up this little indie game called Forest Fire yesterday.
Right.
I don't remember where I heard about it.
Let's look this up.
But you
Don't just type Forest Fire into Google. It will not help you.
No, it won't. It's not a great name, but it is a pretty cool game. So you play as this little flame that you move around on this map, this procedurally generated map.
Do you want to hear how fucked up my Google is at this point?
Oh God.
I typed in Forest Fire and it tried to say, "Do you mean Forest Fire Emblem?" And I'm like, "No."
God.
I mean, you get me, Google. I love you, but that's not what I'm looking for right now.
So this is a bullet hell, but you're playing as this cute little flame, moving around this map and setting fire to oil patches and trees.
Sounds terrible.
And burning, but it has this like Atari graphic to it.
Okay.
So it's not.
Yeah, it looks very early Macintosh.
And that, like, you're doing an objectively horrible thing in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing that Plague Inc. or Mafia games, where you're like, it's kind of bad.
This is kind of bad, but
I shouldn't be doing this. But
and
their fucking tagline, Johnny. Each pixel is physically simulated to spread your flame far and wide. Only you can start forest fires.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's very dumb. But like you would in Vampire Survivors, you level up.
Okay.
And you get to pick like a buff or a new skill or something. There are helicopters that will try and like spray you with water, and you can get an attack that will go after the helicopter. And you're also running on a timer, so if you sit still, like your flame will just get smaller and smaller and eventually go out.
There was a game, like a browser game, that I played in elementary or middle school, where you played as the helicopter, and you were either like saving the animals or trying to dump the water on the rainforest fires that were going on.
Very familiar.
This feels like the developer is like, yeah, I played that game and I always cheered for the fire to win.
Somebody on a Steam review is like, this is a very cool game if you have an inner pyro. If you have an inner pyro, play this game. Okay.
Who doesn't love playing with fire? But there's also clouds, and that's where the bullet hell aspect of it, because the clouds will show up as a storm, and so they'll rain on you, or there's bodies of water that you need to navigate.
What kind of buffs do you give a fire, Johnny?
Gasoline.
You get something that like it shoots like a ring of fire around you, or
you give it Johnny Cash.
Yes, exactly.
Whoa!
The
ring of fire.
You send it to Taco Bell, and then it has a true ring of fire.
You can slow down, like how
is that a power up? Can you eat a Taco Bell and just
and it burns?
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, totally. So lost my train of thought.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. I don't know why you would. I don't know how you could.
but it'll make your flame like dwindle slower.
Mm.
So you can.
We've all been
Did
there.
you call the doors?
Stop
Damn it.
Oh my god. That's forest fire, everybody.
So Johnny, it's fair to say you're hot on this game.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
you know, Marilyn Monroe
it's
said
pretty
some might
cool.
got hot.
It was $2.
And that $2 was just burning a hole in your pocket, so you had to get rid of it.
It was.
Good.
It's good. It's very good.
Let's move on to the news, please.
Speaking of fires, let's get to it.
Go ahead, Bobby. What were you gonna say?
Everything is awesome, is what I was going to say.
Okay. Everything's great.
Oh, I should
guys.
hang on. This is an unfortunate thing. Forest fire in the news. I need to change that really quick.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. That's
Get
bad.
rid of that.
Although at the moment, it's more flooding, right? Like it's less about fires, it's more about water. That's
We'll
the
get back to
problem.
fires.
Earth, wind, and
we'll
fires.
circle back to fires.
Give it a time. Give it some time. We'll get back to the fire.
So SteamWorld, we all know and love those
Your
games.
friend and ours.
Yeah. They put out an announcement a few days ago that they were going to make an announcement today, and that announcement was they are going to be sharing some information about what's to come in the SteamWorld universe, and they did show off a 40-second teaser for SteamWorld Headhunter last year, so I think it's probably safe to assume it's more to come on that. And that's going to be a third-person co-op thing, apparently, which all of their other
also
things,
3D too.
yeah, and all of their other stuff has been 2D side-scrolling. So
Wasn't there? It was Chase that said, "What if this was SteamWorld Heist 2?"
Well, that's what I want. Yes.
Yes, and that would be cool.
And
what
and
else would it be? Unless they also announce what their next project is, or like a re-release of Heist.
I mean, they have now joined Thunderful Games. Image and Form is now like more than what they were, so I could potentially see them having two projects in the works, whereas Image and Form was small enough where it probably could really only handle one at a time. So I could see them doing, if I feel like they could have just said, hey, we're going to talk about SteamWorld Headhunter, since we've already announced that. Like, this might be a thing for that. This almost reads, it's not going to be the same as like a direct. Yeah, like this is not the Nintendo or even Microsoft's direct thing, but I could see them showing off multiple projects, or maybe there's like, hey, we have like a SteamWorld comic book coming out and this video game and some other stuff. So I'll cross my fingers and hope we get Heist 2. Because I just really love Heist.
Heist is so good.
Yeah,
all those games are good. SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yeah.
Fucking
All those games
Yeah,
are good.
they're
I
so
didn't
good.
play the very first one. It was a tower defense game that was a DSiWare game.
Did not play that one.
So, like, very few people did, but
Damn.
I guess
I
it was
didn't know
popular
that existed.
enough. Yeah, I really learned about it when I was doing research. I had a podcast or an episode of Gamers on the Go where I talked to the head of Image and Form, Brian Segerson, and when I was doing research for that, I found, I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was a thing. That's cool, and yeah.
I think
like a
Heist
good-
was the
good
first one I
group.
played. Yeah, I agree, man. They look awesome. I've enjoyed every one of their games that I've played. Every single one of them. They're very different. I can't wait to
Even
see
the
this one.
Gunk.
I liked the Gunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Gunk looked kind of cool. It seemed like it was maybe a little disappointing from
Oh,
what people
100%.
thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I would still play like a SteamWorld setting
Yeah.
game over that. Johnny.
Yeah.
Before we get there's not a story on here that kind of was late breaking today. I'm gonna throw it in here now because it's a shitty one, and I'd rather get it out of the way and not end on it. Microsoft has laid off folks, and
10,000.
10,000
Lot.
people, a lot of people.
From a lot of disciplines, not just
Yes.
not just video game stuff, although a lot of video game people, it seems, but from across all of their
HoloLens
stuff.
It's
Edge.
yeah, it's like I haven't really read too much of the wire statements on them. Like the last I saw, they weren't giving a statement on it, but Bethesda and is one of the studios that they did name drop that are losing folks, and
I
they
wonder if
did.
that's like marketing, because like I don't like it. Just
I don't know, man. There's they hired on quite a few folks. I think like 70,000 people they hired on between 2020 and 2021. I think
it was a lot. It was a lot
Yeah.
of people. I mean, as was
I mean,
the
plus
norm.
you're buying all these companies and doing all this
Mhm.
acquiring stuff, and they're still trying to acquire with Activision. Even though we talked about that last week, how that is hitting some bumps in the road.
for sure.
But yeah, it seems a little weird to say yes, we want to spend these millions and millions and billions of dollars on all these companies, and yet we're also going to slash this staff while we're at it.
Yeah.
I
It's a
wonder if
shitty
this
thing.
has anything to do, like maybe there's some shit like where the legal cost of this endeavor that they're going through is going to be. I'm not even gonna like speculate that I
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah.
rough. It sucks. It sucks that this is happening. I hope that those impacted by these layoffs find their footing elsewhere, and
They did specifically mention Bethesda, but they also mentioned 343. So the Halo people also got trimmed.
yeah,
Yep.
man, it's interesting to see for sure. So, yeah, just wanted to put that one in there. We didn't have it in the notes, but that did happen today, and I mean, yeah, not much else to say. Layoffs suck.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Speaking of companies not doing well, Ubisoft in general seems to be not doing great.
Yeah, we did
And
talk about some of this last week. The Skull and Bones
delayed.
delay and the other games that got canceled, but this is slightly different.
Yeah, apparently Mario plus Rabbids 2 underperformed. I haven't seen any exact.
I don't think this is a quote unquote underperformed like Square Enix would say Tomb Raider underperformed, where it's like, hey, we had bullshit, unrealistic goalpost moving expectations for this because it wasn't something that was made by our Japan team. Those are always bullshit when you heard those. But yeah, this is disappointing because Bobby, you're the one who has the most time into Mario plus Rabbids. Good game.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
more people should have played that game.
It's better than the first one, and the first one was incredible. And I think it's just a weird, for the Switch, it came out like a week before Pokemon did, and Pokemon was massive, like just absolutely huge. So I'm not too surprised. I really am not like surprised by that unfortunate timing for them. I can see that being a game people come back to maybe in between stuff, like get a sale on it. They discounted the hell out of the first one. And there's a bunch of DLC that they've got planned for it too. So maybe people will pick it up as that becomes more prominent. But it's great. It's a very good video game. And
I wonder if some people just felt like the novelty of, hey, here's a Mario and Rabbids video game that's also an XCOM. If they felt like they just got that in the first game and didn't feel the need to play the second game, even though I think we'd all agree that the second game seems to have a lot of good improvements that make it a better game. Yeah. I mean, it's also not just Mario plus Rabbids. They also mentioned that the last Just Dance had a dip in sales as well.
I have no explanation for
you know why? Because they finally stopped putting it on the Wii.
That's true.
There it is.
That's probably the reason.
Think of all the retirement homes that didn't get to play the new Just Dance game this last year.
I think the real reason is there's just not very good music out these days.
Isn't it weird though? Like, I'm sure that there was a good amount of money put into that game from Ubisoft and resources to make it what it was, but I don't know. I find it a bit funny that they're going to be like, we're upset right now. They didn't put out any fucking new Assassin's Creed. They've delayed Skull and Bones again. Mm-hmm. They've got all kinds of other issues that they haven't been able to commit on, but they're going to be like, oh yeah, fucking Mario plus Rabbids did not meet our expectations. Go fuck off, Ubisoft.
I think it's less of a poo pooing on what their own team did. I think it's more of just, hey, we're drowning over here, and this thing is not keeping is not keeping us afloat like we were hoping it might have. I don't see it. I don't see it as them putting down their own developers. Although, you know, their statements to developers.
Careful, they like to do that.
Although that story also came out as like they had, I guess they had like a town hall kind of company meeting, and Eves was like, "Hey, that wasn't cool. I know you guys are really pissed about that statement."
It wasn't.
Yeah,
fucking prick.
Yeah.
You know what happened at Nintendo when they weren't doing well? Iwata took a pay cut.
And then he died for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
He took like 2 pay cuts. Like,
well, that's
be a leader.
The Wii U maybe deserved 2 pay cuts, Johnny.
That's why he took those pay cuts, Bobby.
Hey, it got us Tokyo Mirage Session Shard so you know what?
He should have taken 3.
There were some certified bangers.
Should have taken 3.
Super Mario Maker. Finally,
Johnny, hang on a second.
Yeah. Yes.
Where did you have your Wii U in your house?
What do you mean?
Where was it located in your house?
In my basement, connected to my television.
You ever take that thing when you took a shit? You ever take that tablet in your bathroom?
I didn't.
My bathroom wasn't close enough to my console.
I thought about it. Mine downstairs is definitely close enough.
What would have ran out of batteries first? You having a Taco Bell shit or your Wii U tablet?
Jesus Christ!
Oh, the Wii U for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, I think I took it in there just to see, but I didn't actually
for science.
I didn't,
Could I effectively escape reality for the duration of this shit?
Wasn't there an ad with the Wavebird controller? Was actually just somebody like you could see like in the bathroom, like sitting on the toilet. Like you couldn't see them; you could only see that they were in a seated position in a bathroom, and they had the Wavebird controller. I think I remember a print ad like that.
Yeah, that sounds definitely like that period of advertising.
Really quick. I'm sorry, we're way off the rails here.
When were we ever on the rails?
I don't know. I saw an adapter. So the N64 controller that came out for the Switch.
Yep.
They make an adapter for the Nintendo 64 now that acts like the Wavebird, but allows you to use that controller wirelessly with your 64.
Oh, I found the ad.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
What a controller. Do you guys hate or love the GameCube controller?
I love the GameCube controller. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you pre-order that new thing?
It's so bad.
Huh?
That one I sent you all, the new Switch, like the one that you can dock to the Switch or play in handheld mode. That game that's up for pre-order now.
That always seemed like, remember when the Switch was first being announced and they showed off the Joy-Cons and somebody made like some kind of artist rendition of, think of all like the cool add-on controllers that you could add onto the sides. This is the first one that feels like, hey, we actually did that.
I'm half tempted to grab it just because I liked that control. If they did it in Spice Orange, it would have been here already.
Well, of course, I'd buy anything in Spice.
But of course.
Yeah. But of course, I like seeing that, and I mean there's the 360 controllers coming back this year as well, which we all love that controller, right? I've loved that controller.
Yeah, that was the last Xbox controller I did like, but
it was a hell of a controller.
I like
hell
the
of
360
controller. Johnny, what's this last good news you got for us?
Yeah, there's a lot of negativity in the world, a lot of bad things happening, negative press. So I thought we could end on a happy note. Awesome Games Done Quick happened over the last week. They ended with a total of $2,642,493 raised for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. and I think
That's a
that
lot.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
They,
I haven't
they
watched.
continue to put on a good show.
Yeah, I haven't
every
watched
year.
any of it. But I usually do follow, like, to see, like, if any records get broken, things like that.
Yeah, totally.
I
And
watched a few.
yeah.
Yeah.
What were the standouts?
I honestly, looking through the schedule, and not to be rude to the event, there wasn't a whole lot there that I was excited about. The thing that I love the most is seeing, they've done it in the past a number of times, is the Super Mario Maker
Yeah,
race.
that one's always really cool.
Because then you get a bunch of custom levels, you get a bunch of people there. This was not an in-person show. I can't remember if this was COVID related or it might have been because it was in Florida and Florida had some new Ron DeSantis style shit going on that they said we don't want to gather everybody there. I think it was that second one.
Fair.
So they went back to an online event this year. So doing a big team race like that, especially the relay stuff they did with Mario Maker, probably just wasn't in the cards. The couple that I watched that I really liked, one was staying in the Mario realm. There was a person named Sky Bills, I think is her name, and she played Super Mario All Stars Shuffler,
Oh,
which
okay.
was kind of crazy. It was Super Mario All Stars plus Super Mario World, and the way it worked is that she started a game, and every 30 to 60 seconds, somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds, the system would randomly snap. And at the beginning, it would take her back to the title screen, and she'd have to switch to the next to another game. But eventually, she had all 5 games going at once.
Oh my god!
And the game would just switch every 30 to 60 seconds wherever she was in one game, and just snap it and leave that game and start playing another thing, and then it would randomly snap to another game in another 30 or 60 seconds. So it could be that she's in the middle of a jump in Super Mario Brothers 2 Japan, so the Lost Levels, and then she snaps to Super Mario Brothers 3, and now she's playing that. And then there was a time where it snapped her back to one where she was mid jump, and she's like, I didn't, fuck, I'm not holding right anymore, and she just fell to her death in a pit.
Oh no!
And it was cool. It took her like an hour and 25 minutes, but she beat all of them. They also got a chat reward where they raised enough money for the bonus, which was to play the special stages of Super Mario World as well. So doing Tubular and Awesome and Groovy and all of those, which she did deathless, which was pretty amazing, doing that deathless and snapping back to these other games. That was a really, really cool one. There was a lot of fun tech in there, because one of the things they explained is that we can't do speed strats for all of these things, because speed strats, especially in Mario games, is very timing based, and you're on a rhythm and you know what you're doing at any given time. Sure. And because the game snaps out randomly, it fucks with your timing, so you don't always want to take the riskiest timing strats. Sometimes you want to do a safer stuff. At one point, she even did what she called a pause buffer, is, hey, I'm pretty close to this lava area, I'm just going to let the game pause here and wait for it to snap to the next thing, because if it snaps me when I'm in the middle of this lava thing, I'm just going to fall to my death, and I know that's not going to work.
Fair.
So it was really cool to watch all 5 of these Mario games get beaten at once. That was a really, really neat one. The other one that I liked was Love 3. Have you guys heard of Love 3 before, or any of the Love games? They are also platformers, pixel aesthetic. It kind of has like a VVV aesthetic, but they're these are really difficult platformers. This is definitely in your 1001 Spikes or Super Meat Boy style tough platformers. Splatformers are what they generally are called. And this was a race between 3 people, and they were playing through Love 3, which I just think is a nice looking pixel art platformer. I would never play it because, again, way too fucking hard for me. But it was just a really cool race. And similar to the Mario stuff, I think they had a lot of really good female representation in this AGDQ. You know, a lot of the times you just see a bunch of dudes there. That's just kind of the demographic for a lot of these. But I was really impressed. I think her name is Charbunny. She fucking schooled the other guys. Like they're all good runners at this game, but she just went flawless for like there's 25 stages I think in Love 3, and it seems like she just went completely flawless for like the first 20 and built up such a lead that even when she did make some mistakes in the last handful of levels, it was like she was just far and away better than the other two on that day. And that was just really cool to see somebody masterfully play a game like that. That is like, even if you don't know what this game is, when you go in, it's pretty simple to get the idea, and you still could appreciate the mastery of this. There's a lot of these games. I watched another one. I don't think it was as good, so I'm not here to endorse it. But I watched somebody play through Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. And they did it with a perfect stealth, no kills run. And I thought, okay, this is going to be like super skillful. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And it was hard to understand the game. And that's a game I've even played. So I kind of know the mechanics. I know what's happening there. But there were a bunch of times where, you know, he was just, the runner was just checkpointing, going back and hitting a checkpoint, going back to a menu and exiting out, getting back to a checkpoint, where they were kind of explaining it, but it was also just really difficult to understand. Whereas Love 3, you're just watching somebody very masterfully play through a platformer in one go, and it was just something to behold. And the coolest thing there was a little bit of a bonus. The developer of Love 3 made a special final bonus stage that none of the runners had seen before. And is like, oh, here you go, here's just something you can play. And it had a bunch of fun references of AGDQ, nice. and like the developer's cat. It was in a GIF that was being played in the middle of one of the platforms, and watching the runners. It was kind of cool. Like all the runners were in this competition with each other, so there wasn't really much talking. They're just all trying to do their best. And then in this final stage that none of them had seen before, they all kind of started cooperating with each other of, oh, hey, that thing works like this. Oh, hey, this is one of these key kind of levels. And so they're trading a little bit of stuff back and forth as they're also kind of racing each other. And it was just really cool to see. I thought it was nice. It was a fun show. There might be some other runs that I go back and look at, but there weren't a ton of runs for video games that I particularly like watching be ran, or a lot of ones that were run by the exact same video games that I've seen many times before. I don't need to see somebody play Super Metroid again. I get it. But yeah, that continues to be a really cool show. I'm glad they still do it. I think it's better when it's in person and you have the crowd into it and can cheer and clap and do all that stuff, but totally understandable when they do it online. And I think they're still able to put on a pretty solid show when they just do it online. So cool. Definitely go to the Games Done Quick YouTube channel, and you can see archives of almost all, if not all, of the runs that are there. They have that cut up really nicely. So definitely check it out.
Will do, man. That's awesome. And that will wrap us up for the news here. As we branch over into credits, let's tell you all some fun stuff about us and what we've been doing this week. Chase and I went back to Risk of Rain 2 on Monday night, and that game continues to be very cool. We did not make it to the end like we did the first time we played it, but hey,
this is also our first time playing it with the DLC, which added some cool new stuff.
And we didn't have we had the vanilla characters pretty much for what they give you out of the gate there. But that game's great. You can go back and check out our video on demand, follow the link in chat, or you can go check it out on youtube.com/casual hour. Tuesday, we put up a quick look for Chained Echoes. We've talked about that game tonight. We all like that game. You can go check out some early gameplay of Chained Echoes and let us know what you think about that. Tonight was episode 308. We hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, we've got a quick look going up for a slick video game called Swordship. Check that one out. I think that game
Very slick.
got looked over by a lot of people, and it's got some cool shit going there. So check out Swordship tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central on our YouTube channel. And come back Friday night, where we'll be live again right here on Twitch, playing through the most recent booster course pack for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Those streams are always volatile. They're always difficult to get through. And for us, not for
Maybe
you
for
all.
you.
But yeah, we are going to be going back to that. We might even have some of our friends joining us that night. But you should be back here 10:30 p.m. Central for Casual Fridays, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Chase, what have you been up to?
Couple things. I've got my podcast that I do with friend of the show, Pierce Corshane. It's called Pilot Program, where we watch the first episodes of various television shows. Our latest episode that's up right now is on MASH, which is a great show. I'd never watched MASH before. I've always heard about it in passing, but now I'm watching it. I just like that show. Our next episode is going to be on In Living Color, another show that I haven't seen, but has a reputation. That's where somebody like Jim Carrey got his big start. So looking forward to seeing that and seeing what that's all about. And then we've got a couple other ones that we already have planned and ready to go, ready to record. So excited about that show. You can find that there on my link tree that Bobby is linked to in the chat. And I think that's it for now. I talked about the blog I did for Gamers on the Go, Legend of the River King. You can go check that back out at gamersonthego.com, and we'll be rolling a new backlog roulette for our next preview episode, a February preview, and we'll see what game I play and have to talk about next. That'll
Absolutely.
be fun.
Johnny, what books have you finished?
Oh my god. I finished a book called Locklands, which is part of a trilogy. I finished a book called Between Two Fires, which is a medieval...
Zach Galifianakis?
You think.
It's the sequel.
Between Two Fires, not Ferns.
Okay.
Every time I talked about it, though, I wanted to say Between Two Ferns. It was a medieval horror book set in France during the plague. It was really cool. It was one of the coolest horror books I've read, ever.
Nice.
So, way into that.
Very cool, man. Keep on reading. Get those book it points. Like we said, we'll be back on Wednesday.
Johnny's just going to be swimming in personal pan pizzas.
Right.
I'm jealous. I might start reading because of it. We'll be back on Friday night with Mario Kart. Come hang out and make fun of us being idiots. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody.